Yo, Bing. What's
What's
up?
up, dude?
Um, so we definitely get Rich's take on this at some point because we Bob and I and Rich talked about the Steam Machine a little bit on a previous episode. We've got some more information on that. We're going to dive into the Analog 3D, which I have, and Brooks, I'm curious about some of your take on it because I know you have different setups for the 64 and far as upscaling and whatever. So we'll get into that as well. But Bob, I know Brooks, you had thrown some stuff too about the Steam Machine to me. Bob, you want to just kind of let's dive Steam Machine again first and really kind of see kind of where we're at now that we have a little more information on this thing.
Yeah, man, it looks like it's going to be it looks like it's going to be something that dies on the vine, if you ask me. As far as it's a device without a purpose. It's not even, it's not even the butter machine from Rick and Morty. It doesn't, at least the butter machine, its purpose was to serve butter. Who does this serve? It's not for hardcore gamers, like hardcore PC gamers, because they've already got their rigs. It's not for people it's not a good entry point at, they're talking $1,000 to buy in. And it's not, there's reports that with the 8 gigs of video RAM, it's not running Steam OS well. So what are you making this, who is this device for?
Yeah, Brooks, go ahead because I want to hear your take. We haven't had you on about this, so I'm really curious about your thoughts on this one.
Yeah, right on. So I think Bobby's got the nail on the head there. It's like they're trying to force their way into a market where I don't think they have either the skill set or the customer base to support, marketing this device to it. Because first of all, I'm a PC gamer, right? So like if I want to upgrade my video card, I just go upgrade my video card, right? This is going to force like a life cycle into the it's basically a console, right? And it's going to force a life cycle onto people where, hey, the latest came out and it doesn't run Crisis, you need to get Steam Machine 2, right? So you're basically locking in people that would usually have more versatility in their hardware. You're locking them into a console style, and you just I don't know. I don't see it have the feasibility to operate everything it needs to do for a long-term like hardware solution. I just don't think it's going to work. And that market's already like people that want to play console play console. People that want to play console type games on their PC, guess what? They already do that. They put a Xbox controller into a USB port and install some software, and they're good to go. So I don't know who it's going to be suited for.
Yeah,
honestly, go ahead, Tom.
No, real quick though, Brooks, you said it with the Crisis thing, which is always cracks me up with that. But Bob, the article you shared earlier with me talking about it referenced benchmark testing with Cyberpunk. So obviously the Crisis conversation has moved to Cyberpunk, but we're still talking about a game that's 10 years old. And if you're talking about benchmark testing that's failing against comparable PCs that were, rigs that maybe people built or whatever for a similar or even less cost, we got a problem.
Right.
So,
and the biggest thing is, I think Steam thought, all right, well, the Steam Deck's doing really well, so let's try and infiltrate the home market a little bit. Let's see what we can do with that. And the problem is, yeah, the Steam Deck's doing well because you know what? The Steam Deck is affordable. The Steam Deck is comparably priced to a Switch. Now, unless you're talking the next gen Xbox that still that doesn't exist yet, consoles aren't reaching that $1,000 benchmark. Consoles aren't reaching the $800 benchmark. People are up in arms about the Xbox after what's it been, 5 years now? It's been on the market, and now it's jumped up to $600. So you're really missing the mark, because I'm the target audience for the Steam Machine in theory. If the Steam Machine came out and it was priced comparably to the PlayStation 5, the Switch 2, and the Xbox, I'm grabbing one. I'm a day one, right? But when you've got a system that's so underpowered that it can't run a game that the Switch 2 can run in Cyberpunk, and it's running off of the game cartridge or the game card, whatever you want to call it, for the Switch 2. If you can't get that running, I don't have a whole lot of faith in your system to begin with, let alone to drop 600, 700, 800, whatever price it ends up being. I don't have the faith in it to buy that.
And what I'm seeing is they're getting Cyberpunk in 4K, and they're only getting 60 FPS, right? I'm sorry, but like, for example, if you play first-person shooters, like 60 FPS, like I'm gonna get killed. I need like, you know, my monitor has 240. I don't think you need that for the human eye, right? But somewhere in the hundreds, you need that at least. And if I'm buying something and I'm locked into that hardware, it's just not going to be an enjoyable experience for me.
Yeah, no, like Bobby said, you know, that was the target initially, was that entry level. Hey, I want a console, maybe make that dive into PC gaming at a comparable, you know, cost, because look, you have, like, as you guys mentioned, like, you have your people that spend the money, build the rigs. Those are your PC gamers anyway. You know, you do have a sect of people, I think, that are interested in PC gaming, either don't have the wherewithal for machine building. They're not going to pump out the 2, 3, 4, whatever thousands of dollars that, you know, people, you can't sink into that. I mean, that market can get crazy. So it's like, okay, a few $100, get myself an entry box. It's got the Steam badge on it. You know, hey, let's go. You know, Steam's got a nice marketplace. All this stuff's really readily available. But the fact that it's so grossly, or at least coming out, that it's not testing well comparative to Windows machines of similar cost, we've got an issue here. And yeah, I don't know. I think this does fall flat on its face too. I don't see this being anything. And I think where the Steam Deck rose to popularity because it's an alternative to a Nintendo gaming platform. It lets you play a lot of other games at a fairly reasonable price point, mobile version wise, handheld, if you will. This is going to be the polar opposite, where it's supposed to be the same thing, but it's missing the mark everywhere. It's so far from what we're seeing. So yeah, I don't know. I was kind of excited at first, but now my excitement is certainly tempered to the point where I certainly want to entertain this.
Well, I think the Steam Deck is different enough from the like PC version of everything, where it's portable, you can take it wherever you need to go, right? That's like, the handheld market is its own market, right? If you're trying to break into the console market, to Bobby's point, you're not going to be able to do it at $1,000, right? Because your competition's going to eat you alive at $1,000.
Yeah, no kidding.
Absolutely.
And this is where that it should be the bridge. That's what the conversation that we had before, me, Bob, and Rich, was. It should be a bridge between the console folks, the PC folks, because that's what the Steam machine is. It's a PC, but it's being marketed more as a console. That's what it is. I mean, it's hook it to your TV, you know, hook a controller, hook a keyboard and mouse. You know, it's one of those deals where it should be a plug and play. You know, any Joe can do it, right? But man, some of the stuff that's coming out, that's not cool. I'm not digging it.
Yeah, you know,
and the fact that it runs Windows better than Steam OS is another strike against it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You know, another thing that's going to throw a monkey wrench into this is a lot of popular games are already cross-console, cross-PC play. So, you know, I play games with people that are on console, and it's fine. It works. The servers are all online. It doesn't matter whether you get there via PC or a console. So that kind of takes a little bit more of the wind out of their sails for trying to do a hybrid.
Yeah, no, and you're right. I mean, the cross console thing initially, I think, was a rocky road, just like most ventures into those sorts of things tech wise. But yeah, I mean, anytime I play anything online, which is rare, but that has cross platforming, everything seems to be fine. I've never noticed any hiccups or anything. You know, I've played enough Diablo 4 now, and I believe they even mentioned that the performance or experience may differ because of that, but I've never noticed anything. I mean, and even simpler games, it's cross-platform, like Tetris Effect Connected is another one that's like that. I've never noticed anything. I played it on the PS5 and I played it on the Switch. Never noticed one way or the other. So I don't know. It sucks because it's like I think there was a level of excitement for this thing that's really gotten tempered now to a point where I don't know where this thing's going to end up.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It looks like it could go the way of what was the one? The OU.
Oh yeah, the OUYA, that thing.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
remember
pronounce
seeing
it.
that for like $30 at Target when it was on clearance, and still not wanting to pick it up. But and there was the original Steam machine, and that didn't do well either, right?
What was that?
I mean, well, that there right there's your answer. Is that's how well it
I was
did.
gonna say, I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, there was it was a little bit different, but I remember the joysticks they didn't have sticks on them. They had like almost like little, remember the Max, the NES Max?
Oh yeah.
It kind of had like that slidey pad thing
Oh
for
yeah.
instead of sticks. And it didn't do well. So it seems like they're just repeating their history here.
Yeah, I'm looking up now. Yeah, the OG Steam machine. Yeah, which it's funny because it looks like a friggin', I don't know, a combination between a network switch and a VCR. Like it almost looks like a TiVo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know, guys. That's a weird one. I have a level of excitement with new consoles. We'll get into that with the Analog here in a minute, but this one, it was like, it was cool when we talked about it the first time. Thought the price point might be worthwhile. Even I have a limit with that, and especially if the testing that we're starting to see come out with it is anywhere near what they say is as poor as it is, then I just don't see it.
Yeah, which sucks because I was really looking forward to it, and
Right,
it's what it is.
Stick to building your machines. Oh, that is one thing though we need to talk about at some point on this one. Speaking of different machines, is the rebirth of the Commodore 64. I don't know if you guys saw that come through your.
Yeah, I saw that. There was a big lawsuit that they were settling on the copyright for that.
Yeah, and this is I don't know. Let's talk about it now. So I guess whatever company it was, I can't remember the name offhand, but they got all the rights to it, or are supposed to have. Right? I mean, am I not? I mean, I just read this a couple days ago, but the 2020, it was supposed to be the Commodore 64 Ultimate, I believe is what this thing's called.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's a FPGA based. Looks supposed to basically look like the original Commodore 64. They try to play a lot of homage to it, but it does have some newer features, obviously for hooking up to modern devices. I think it's like HDMI, and it's got USB-C and those sorts of things. But supposedly this thing is also supporting all the software that's been released over the years, all 10,000 games, and the different add-ons that the 64 had. So I don't know, the price point is what, $300-400, something like that.
So right now, if you pre-order it, It's 300. It's going to be 350.
Okay. I don't know.
And right now, it's if you buy one, you get the second one 10% off.
Oh, there you go.
You want to go splitsies, Bob?
Yeah.
I'll do
There
it.
you go.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Hey guys, guess what we did? We each saved 5% on a 2025 Commodore 64. No, look, this is cool from a legacy standpoint, and I guess all three of us would have at some point learned to type on one of those. I did.
I definitely did. Load with the quotation marks, asterisk, quotation mark, comma 8, comma 1. Definitely.
Yeah, I mean,
So my only experience was at Richie's house because he had one. I learned on an Apple II Plus.
oh, there you go. There you go. See, I recall using the 64. My dad has told me about it many, many times, but as I got a little older, my memories were more, the IBM based stuff moving forward in the late 80s. And then we eventually got an Amiga.
Yeah.
So my Amiga experience is what I finally remember way more than the Commodore 64 because of my age. So I was five when we got the Amiga. That was a very, prior to that was the Commodore 64. I don't have very many memories because I was birthed to 4, so it wasn't like it was.
I was the Commodore was definitely my intro into computers. We had a Commodore 64, and then for 2 years that was like in the kitchen, and my mom did the bookkeeping on it and stuff like that for my dad's business. And there was like a word processor software that she had, and then I just had shoe boxes full of games and the 5 1/4 floppy games. I played so much Elite on that thing, it was ridiculous. And then my parents upgraded to a Commodore 128 in the late 80s or early 90s, and the Commodore 64 went to my room. And so I was playing the Mars Saga on a CRT and all sorts of old school Choplifter and all the old school Commodore 64 games. I played tons of that.
Yeah, no, Bob, I know you said your only experience was at Richie's house. Do you remember like anything in particular about it, or?
Hero. That was the only
Yeah,
game
I
that I
remember
really
Hero.
remember.
That was the dude with the little helicopter, and you had to go through like a little 2D maze kind of deal and fly around. Yeah, I remember that.
Yep.
See, I just remember typing, and that was always a joke. I always tell people that actually when I do conference presentations, because I always say, my parents had their first computer in the house in 1979. So it was before I was born. And so the joke was that I could type before I could write, which was likely true. I mean, I was behind messing around, and that's what I recall, is basically it's typing and messing around on a 64. I don't have any memories of any games per se because of my age. I attribute it to that and likely a lot of beer as I got older, which just really clouded the brain cells.
Neurons.
Yeah, really killed that off. It's my own fault. It is what it is.
Malted hop and bong resin.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, right? But no, it's really cool. I do dig this. The fact that they try to pay a nice homage to keeping it to where it'll still support all the old stuff and it looks the same, but yet it has, the newer tech behind it where it can connect to newer monitors or television screens or whatever you want to do with it. But it's cool stuff. That stuff I like. I think it's fun. I know Atari Bob has done a similar thing recently, right?
Yeah, I was actually just looking that up. The Atari 2600 Plus. So not only do they have the normal Plus edition, but they have a Pac-Man edition. So it plays all the original hardware or all the original software, but it's got some little upgrades like the original, the Atari 2600 Plus has a wired controller. The Atari 2600 Plus Pac-Man console comes with a wireless controller. and it has, I think, Pac-Man built in. If not built in, it comes with the cartridge. It looks like it comes with the cartridge. My bad. But and it's decked out in Pac-Man stuff. I don't know, it's cool the way that they're going back and looking at and doing a bunch of this stuff. And they even released the Atari 20 or Atari 7800 Plus, which still plays the 2600 games and everything else. But that's it's actually on sale right now for $107.50 on Amazon.
Yeah,
so Amazon, give us some money.
Yeah, no, dude, it's cool as hell to be able to, in this day and age, go to Atari.com and pull up the 2600 Plus, and you're seeing it with a controller or the joystick. I'm sorry, and like you said, just over $100. That's so cool. I love it. I mean, of course, I could probably just go down to my local flea market and find an OG for a few bucks, but it's still super.
Yeah, but
cool
these
though.
These ones have HDMI output, so
exactly. Yeah, that's that kind of gets us into our next thing. So I was I don't know, dumb enough to do a pre-order on the Analogue 3D back in October 2024. I say dumb enough because I waited for over a year to get it. But so Analogue 3D is basically the Nintendo 64 re-release from a third-party company that's very well known for redoing, systems, and they've had a lot of releases over the years. But it is HDMI compatibility. It powers through USB-C. There's simplified the system down to where there's no network connectivity to it, but it has updates available through SD cards. So it's enough to where it supports all the original Nintendo 64 consoles and most of the peripherals that were released, even if it was third party. And I was a little taken aback initially because I had purchased a EverDrive X7 cart, so I could have my entire library on one cartridge, because I own every single Nintendo 64 game. Yes,
Yep.
I do. I just don't feel like putting them in the same spot every time. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So I was bummed out, though, because plug the EverDrive in and black screen. So, okay, doesn't support it. Kind of freaking out a little bit. But thankfully, I have a few Nintendo 64 carts right by my side, pulled from my collection, and I slap in GoldenEye, works just fine. Slap in a couple of other games, they work just fine. So within 24 hours, though, the fine gentleman that developed the EverDrive releases a patch for the firmware and goes through the process. And it's interesting. The process basically entails you moving the file over to the card on the EverDrive, and the new bootloader, which you have to hook into an OG 64. It's the only way you can get it to work. So once you do that, though, pop the EverDrive into the Analogue, and there we go. We're in business. So the best thing at this point has been able to play all these games now, and my kids are experiencing for the first time. So now we're really diving into Diddy Kong Racing, and my son has really gotten hardcore into Mario Kart 64, and just these things that we have not been able to. And I be honest with you guys, I have not played around with all of the display settings that some others have. There's a wonderful forum that I'm a part of on Facebook, and to see some of these things that these people are doing, they make the 64 look beautiful. I just haven't gotten around to mess with it that way, because I'm just enthralled the fact that I see the box scan lines on my big flat screen. It's the coolest thing, and my kids are enjoying it, and we're playing some games I haven't touched in 25 years, and playing games that I hadn't touched since I played with you guys, since we were in high school and early college. So it's been absolutely a blast. And everything I read on the forum, I find almost overwhelmingly positive. Absolutely a win. It does have its quirks. I actually have found an issue with the card they shipped it with to do the firmware updates is basically a piece of trash. So people have started to swap it out or
Is
talked
that
about
just a
swapping it.
micro SD card?
It's right. It's a regular SD.
Okay.
It's probably some God
It's a
knows.
quality issue.
Yeah, right. Which is it's crazy because the system itself is so solid, and everything else about it's awesome except for that. I don't know. It's like almost like they pulled it out of a cereal box. I don't know what the rationale was there, but I will say the support was amazing. They got back to me within less than a day about here's what you need to do to correct this issue that you're having as far as repairing the SD card. It was just basically essentially the card got some kind of file system error, so it was a read error. So you basically just have to pop it into a computer like PC and repair it. That's essentially what it boils down to. There's several more steps to that, but that's essentially what they sent. But the thing I found out was didn't really need to do that because playing with the EverDrive, the only reason why that card's in there for the analog is for one, firmware updates, and two, for save states or saving your progress. Well, I have the EverDrive in there. It has its own card in there. So I don't need it for saving. Like I'm not going to update it anymore right now because there's no more updates. So I just go with it. But no, it's been a great experience. Absolutely love it. I have 3 old N64 controllers that they've seen some stuff and they work absolutely fine with it. Absolutely in love with it. I certainly think that it's as much as I kick myself for having to wait well over a year for it. If you guys get the chance, definitely think about picking one up. But this is where I want to talk to you, Brooks, about. I know you have a different setup for your 64, so go for it, man.
Right. So actually for the Nintendo 64, Santa's bringing a Nintendo 64 to my house this year. That's what he said. But we have a Super Nintendo, original Nintendo, a PlayStation 2, and a Wii right now out there. And for the older systems, so the Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and the PS2, what I ended up doing was I did a little research, probably a lot of research actually at this point, on this thing called the RetroTink, which is an FPGA based. It's basically a video card. Essentially, what it does is it'll take SVGA, standard RCA jack VGA, and it will convert it into an HDMI output. And that HDMI can be 4K, can be 1080p. There's a whole list of options from the RetroTink. What I really like, so RetroTink, you were speaking about the community for your device, and RetroTink is the same way. They have a Discord where it's just hundreds of people that go on there, and they're like, hey, what settings did you use for this game? What settings did you use for this? You can save a game profile or a system profile in there, and it'll just automatically swap all of those settings to what you need it to do. For example, when I first started it, I had some horizontal line artifacts going on, and a little bit of I'll call it aliasing is probably the best way to say it, where there were some dark spots in letters and stuff like that. And basically, so the guy who did this, he's an electrical engineer who works out of his, garage, and I think he's in San Diego or something. And what he basically did was he built the thing to be super versatile and to be able to, whatever the user wants, allow that to happen. And what that caused the community to do is then to take it and then fine tune and adjust all these different parameters to get the best picture possible for every single system and every single game. And so lately we play Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance on there, the PlayStation 2 game. My wife and son, they play Donkey Kong Country on there with Diddy Kong and Donkey Kong running around. And then I'm going to see how it goes with the Nintendo 64, and I'll report back and let you know how Conker's Bad Fur Day looks and all that stuff.
That's honestly what I'm most curious about, because I know you guys have, obviously, you're OG gamers. We all how many hours we all spent playing 64 over the years, but if you guys ever had any experience trying to emulate 64, if all those systems that you just mentioned, Brooks, everything emulated pretty well, with exception to the 64. The 64 is always the biggest pain, and for
Yeah,
various reasons.
I think it's the unique hardware associated with the 64. I think that's the issue there.
Right, and that's what I was curious about, how the retro tank would handle, the upscale and all that, and I think that's why the Analogue was such a popular hit so far to this point, is because they basically engineered all of it ground up.
It does it for you, yeah.
Right, and it's focused solely on that system, and I'm shocked because I've hooked a 64 up to a modern television before. And it looks like garbage, and it's hard to play. And this thing, I was like amazed because I didn't play with any, and I've seen people like stretch the screen and so far and whatever, but and it looks beautiful. I haven't messed with that yet, but to me, that I saw it as a CRT square, and I saw scan lines.
Yeah,
I saw what I was used to doing 30 years ago, roughly, and it was like I fell back in love all over again. And being able to play paintball mode and GoldenEye with my children, and they had a field day with it, was incredible. And never thought I'd have that, because a lot of those games my kids don't care about at all. Why would they care about a James Bond game? They don't.
Yeah.
Why, especially that. But man, you do stuff like that, and it's like, man, they were into it. And then it's like, oh, let's play this, let's play that, let's try this. And then of course they also discovered that, not every game's great. So
yeah, you got to take the good with the bad. Oh, you got to push some culture on them in GoldenEye though, man. You got to do a couple games of slappers only and throwing knives. You get super frustrated with throwing knives because those things are so hard to hit anybody with.
Oh, I changed the setting to golden gun just to be like, oh yeah, it's just a special color gun.
Yeah.
Where they were mad about that.
Golden gun with anything explosives was like, that was just mayhem, because you get within, I don't know, 10 yards of a grenade launcher going off and you just die randomly.
Of course, my son, who's he's like me. He's definitely cut from my cloth. He's like, ooh, odd job. I'm gonna use him. I'm like, oh no.
You picked up on that one.
Oh, it's like, you jerk. Like, now we can't kill you because you're like half the size of everyone else.
Shorter than everybody else. Yep.
Oh man.
I always found the Clob was good against Odd Job because its recoil went all over the place, so it would catch the top of his head every time.
Yes, that's true. That's true. But I don't know. It's fun, and the Bob, I know you're obviously probably the biggest retro gamer I know. Although I don't know, between you, Brooks, and Rich, it's hard to gauge which one of you might actually be. I don't know. But I don't know. What's your take on the original? I know you don't have one right now. I know you're looking at it. But as far as your thoughts on where we're at here with 2025, and we're talking Nintendo 64, what do you think?
Hey, listen, Nintendo's charging a premium to let you play those games on the Switch and Switch 2. So if you can, get your own collection going again, because since you can't buy them from Nintendo, because Nintendo hates money apparently, I think it's solid, man, and the system itself is sweet, and the options that it has, as far as, like you said, with the scan lines and all that stuff. That's why Analogue is one of the best console makers on the market right now. Like I think you said it best when you said, it's packaged, the packaging and the presentation and everything makes it feel premium. And that in and of itself, that's a special thing, because so many companies now, it's just like, oh yeah, we're going to throw it in the box. Like even the Switch 2, when you open the Switch 2, you're presented with the screen right up against the outside cardboard. No care taken whatsoever. That's why they had people having broken screens on launch day, because stores were stapling the receipt to the front of the box and poking holes in the screen.
Yeah.
So everything about Analog just screams quality, and I'm not surprised at all that you're absolutely loving it. So,
Yeah, no, and yeah, yeah, and so that's like, yeah, the my experience of unboxing that thing was like opening an iPad. Apple, as much as of an Apple person I'm not, Apple does take pride in packaging and making sure things are greatly presented in there. It's very simplistic, but it's very well packed, and everything is just it is. I mean, there's not been an Apple product that I've not opened within the last 10, 15 years that I'm not like, ooh, this is just fantastic. I'm not an Apple person, but they take pride in how that stuff is presented. There's a reason for that. And Analog, same feeling. It was just like, oh, this is nice. The box is like nice and tight, and ooh, it has this protective on it. And I lift it up, and it's got this little box underneath with the cords, just like an iPad. Like, it's nice. Yeah, no complaints from me on that.
Like fancy restaurants know this. They've known this for like 300 years, right? Like presentation is everything, and it's just when you buy something from there, it shows like a level of care. It's almost like when people go out of their way to buy something that's handmade, right?
Yeah, no doubt. Like, it feels like that. Like Bobby, you said it. Like, it's that extra level of care to it. Unlike Nintendo, which is funny though, because Nintendo was known for stuff like that, but I guess they don't really care anymore.
I feel like with their consoles, but I don't know. Maybe it's gone down the tubes since we started buying consoles.
I don't know. Hell, we've talked about it several times here. I know, Bob, you have your way with the Switch too. You can go one way or the other with it, but I know, yeah.
yeah, the original Switch I thought was fantastic. The Switch 2 is good. There's just not enough out for it, in my opinion. Donkey Kong was great, but it's such a slow drip of games coming out. It could be a little bit better.
I did see an article. I want to before we close up shop here. Before I forget about this. I did see an article, and this was a great thought as we talked about the re-release of the Commodore, and then with the Analogue and these different systems that they've done over time, which the Analogue 3D, and then with the other systems Analogue has done over time, and then with the Atari that we've mentioned as well. What's next? Like, what actually comes
I'll
next?
tell you what's next.
This is what I was waiting for.
I'll tell you what's next. The Intellivision. You think I'm joking?
Well, yeah, we've dogged on the Intellivision. I don't know how much on.
No, you think I'm
years.
fucking joking? I'm being serious. The Atari 2600 Plus. They made the Intellivision Sprint. It's the Intellivision, the one like the classic Intellivision with the little disc controller and everything.
No,
but it's actually releasing, unlike the Amico.
No, it didn't. You're pulling my leg here.
They did. I swear to God, look up Intellivision Sprint. And it even has the little slip things, the little covers that you put.
You're right.
It's real.
You're not wrong. Wow, $150. Well, okay. It looks like what I thought the Amico would look like when it was released.
Right? And get this, you use actual cartridges.
No, that's
I'm fairly certain you do. I know it's not NFC cards.
Wow, there's a list of games for that thing.
Yeah,
wow.
Man.
All right.
This is wild. I can't believe this.
When the heck was that thing even released initially?
I don't know. This is the
late
40th
70s
anniversary?
Early 80s?
45th. Yeah, it's older than me, so.
Yeah.
Oh, kidding.
45 Systems best games. Yeah, I want to say it was like, I think this is the 45th anniversary.
Let's see. Original release. Yeah, 1979. Holy smokes.
Oh, damn.
It
It's
was
older
released.
than me.
Yeah, the original Intellivision console was released by that's crazy though, because it was the rival to the Atari 2600, which that's all sorts of weird.
Mhm.
North America 1969, released by Mattel.
And you know what else is being released? Re-released, rather?
What's
And
that?
Tom, I know this one's not going to really work for you because you don't really like it. Brooks, I don't know where you stand, but I'm kind of excited. They're re-releasing the original theatrical cut of Star Wars: A New Hope in the theaters for its 50th anniversary.
That's pretty cool.
So none of the special edition bullshit. No Greedo
No,
shooting
no,
first.
no THX like Dolby surrounds in the beginning. Psh,
I might have that.
okay.
They might keep that, but they're not going to have any of the bullshit with like, you know, the
The edits. Yeah. The late edits.
all this right. So
It's not in
Han
stereo.
shoots
It's all
first.
mono.
No, man, it's quadrophenia or whatever they called it when they had the four different speakers. Or am I thinking of the Who album?
Did you just make up a word?
No, you know what it is. That's the name of the Who album. It's my dad's favorite Who album, but it was had something to do with like they used sound came out of 4 different speakers or whatever, and I don't know.
I don't know if that's
Maybe
cool. I'm not the Star Wars guy. You know, episode 1 absolutely killed my spirits when I was in high school. So, but my son's a big original trilogy guy, so he might enjoy that. I might have to take him to that.
It's the same in our house, man. Well, because Katie painted the picture for Kent. Like he loves anything Darth Vader's in, and that's the original 3.
I've got to get her to paint something else and send because she's I'll talk about it off pod, but her art skills have increased considerably.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, that was nicely done. We love it.
But no, that's exciting. I did want to pick your guys' brain. One last thing. What are you playing, Brooks? What are you playing?
Right now, still 7 Days to Die, and actually, there's an update to my Warhammer game pretty soon that I think I'm probably going to have to take on because the Warhammer Dark Tide game is like it's a first-person shooter, but it's like team players. Like you get in a team with 3 other people, and you basically have a mission that you need to go do. And I just like it because you can crank up the difficulty, and I always joke with some of my usual players that I play with, and they're like, "Oh man, I was in a game with a bunch of randos today, and it was awful." And I was like, "The real difficulty level is always your teammates."
So I got to say this. So this is going to be Bob. I've got a dog on Rich for this one. So our Spotify Wrapped came out this year for 2025. Because they had that. You have like the Spotify your year in review with music, or the whatever service you use. You always have this time of year they come out with. You listen to this for this many minutes, and these are your favorite artists, whatever. Well, they give this to us for our own podcast, and our most listened to episode just happens to be the first one that Brooks was on with us. If you're a fan of Warhammer, you listen to this, and it was just the 3 of us.
Oh yeah.
So we got a dog on Rich. It's like, see, if you would actually show up,
yeah,
it's a new content. I mean, you could be as popular as us, but
just you really want to get under his skin? Be like, hey man, if you show up, you can be as popular as Brooks.
But no, I thought that was pretty funny. That was our most listened to episode, which I'm sure it was.
There's like this universe, that Warhammer universe. There's people that play the video games. There's people that just read the books. There's people that just play the tabletop game. There's it's just a universe, right? And then like people just have all of their different hobbies associated. One of my students, so I mentioned it in school, like that I was playing Warhammer Dark Tide, and one of my students was like, "Oh, I have something for you." He went and 3D printed
Oh,
a
that's
servitor,
cool.
a servitor skull
Oh,
for
nice.
me,
That's
so that I
awesome.
could like, yeah, I thought it was pretty cool, man. And like I teach a microcontrollers class, so I was thinking maybe I could throw some little LEDs or something in there and have it
Yeah.
fly around or something. But like everybody knows what this is, and it's just people have tangential relationships to it. Like some people, played the old games. Even people, so believe it or not, and I talked about this on the podcast, people that played StarCraft, right? Like that was a huge hit for 20. I think there's still esports on the original StarCraft, right?
Yes, there are.
That's all the Warhammer universe. Blizzard just didn't have the rights to it, so they had to change all the names. And so like
Okay.
The Terrans are the Marines, they're the human beings, and then the Zerg are in Warhammer, they're the Tyranids, and the Protoss I think were the Tau or something like that. But they're anyway. Long story short is they basically made that entire franchise based on the Warhammer universe.
Interesting. Yeah, no, it's funny. Yeah, we still do the esports thing. I don't know that we have any StarCraft players going, but in our school system, but it is funny the different games that they play. That it's shocked me, that have been around for a long time.
Yeah, timeless games.
Yeah.
My buddy actually sent me, he said he just picked up the Command and Conquer Ultimate Edition and it has like every Command and Conquer RTS game.
Nice. All right, Bob, what are you playing these days right now?
I've been playing the Gears of War Reloaded for PS5, and other than that, been playing Pokemon Legends Z through A, and I'm currently I think 130 hours into that game, and
Wow.
the DLC comes out on the 10th, so I think it's fair to say I got my money's worth.
Yeah. So obviously with the analog, I've just been, it's a little GoldenEye and some other stuff that I haven't picked up in a while. But the cool thing is that I can throw other ROMs on there. So of course I grabbed the 2025-26 rosters for Tecmo Super Bowl. So I've been playing that. But Bob, you'll find this funny. This is probably more of a sports podcast thing, but whoever made the rosters, this is the funniest thing. So of course, fire up the Eagles, and they have two running backs going in their 4-play set, which is fine. So I thought, okay, it's got to be Barkley and Hurts, or Barkley and not Bigsby, Shipley. Bigsby wasn't there yet when the rosters were ported over on this. You want to take a guess? It was not Barkley and Hurts. It was not Barkley and Shipley, and obviously not Barkley and Bigsby. You want to take a guess who the second person was as the running back in the set, and actually was listed as the number 1 running back?
AJ Dillon?
No. It was a roster error. Ben Van Sumeren.
Oh Jesus! Yeah, he's a fullback, not a
right. So he was listed. He had the top 2 running back plays on the thing, and I was like, well, yeah, you're going on the bench.
Yeah. Don't need to run with Ben Van Sumeren.
No. So I've been playing that, and kids and I have been playing a little bit of Destruction Derby 64, which
That's a good one.
Yeah, it's all right. It's not bad. And some other stuff on there, like I've said already, GoldenEye, and a couple others are fired up.
You got to play Vigilante 8 Second Offense.
Yeah,
Vigilante 8, those are good games, man. The Vigilante 8 games are awesome.
I played a few minutes of Second Offense the other night after the kids went to bed because I hadn't played it forever, and I was like, "Ooh, I forgot how good these were." But no,
what was the game, Tom, where we used to do the ridiculous stunts with the cars and like the polygon arenas? It was Rush 64.
Rush 2. Yep. So we've been playing a lot of that too. Yeah. Now it's funny because I introduced my kids to that and showed them just do the stunt arena, and neither of them were like, what is this? And I'm like, you don't know the angles,
You got to hit it at like a 37.5-degree angle. And
You don't know the angles. You have to hit it at 98 miles an hour, not 107. Oh, no, it's fun though. It's cool. I think as a parent, that's a fun thing because it's like I never thought that I would be able to do that, and that's been the
Right.
cool thing is I know you guys are big into it because I know Bobby do that with painting a lot, is really introduce him into the stuff that you loved. And I know Brooks, you're doing the same thing with your son Kent, and it's like it's really cool because it's like being able to relive your own childhood, and really introduce this next generation into, hey, like there was some cool stuff. Doesn't all have to be fancy bells
Yeah,
and whistles.
yeah.
Like there were some cool games, and look, those games that we grew up with, I'm sorry, are still pound for pound harder than anything that's out there now. So,
Oh yeah.
Oh, for sure, dude. For sure.
I don't want to. I don't want to ever hear anyone say, "Well, the original Donkey Kong was easy." Yeah, good luck. Good luck. So
They were playing Donkey Kong Country the other day, and it was a bit ago, and they were like, "Can you do this part?" And I was like, "All right, let me." I don't remember how to play it. It was one of the rail car ones where you
oh
had to
God,
jump.
minecart, yeah, the minecart one.
Yeah, and I did one and got through it, and I was like, "Here, I don't want to play this anymore. I hate this game."
And that's a crazy thing. Like I've done that too because my son and Tommy and I we did a lot of that. We were playing that, and we would do that. We'd play Donkey Kong Country and switch back and forth, and we got to the minecart levels, and it's like I'll do it, but I'm not gonna be a fan of this because it's all
I'm
timing.
not gonna like it, but I'll do it.
Yeah, and I've got to be sober. Like, and there's
Yeah, you have to lock in, dude. Like that shit's hard.
all right. Well, any closing thoughts?
Yeah, actually, and it's not going to be, well, it's not yet. It's not going to be fuck Dallas. If you guys get the chance, there's a newer game, and I say newer. It came out in like the last 5 or 6 years. Nidhogg and Nidhogg 2. You can take your pick.
I'm
I
gonna
remember,
have to be
And,
very
talking about
careful
these.
about how I type this into a search bar.
Yes, but it's
Please be sober when you're doing it.
it's a fencing game, and so the whole idea is you get in the first one it's just foils that you're using, and it could have been done on Atari, or it looks like it could have been done on Atari. Everything, your character is just solid color, and it is what it is, and you have your foil, and you're trying to stab the other person and run past them, and you can the second one, the pictures get a little bit more detailed, but it's still basically the same. But you're just trying to get past the other person and get to the end screen on either end, depending upon which way you're going. And it's just super fun. It's super chaotic. It's I I can't really describe it accurately. You have to. The best thing I can say is if you don't trust me, watch somebody play it, and like do a little YouTube search and watch somebody play it, and you'll see it's super duper fun. Peyton and I play it, and Peyton gets so pissed because I whoop his ass. But it's one of the few games that I can still whoop his ass in. So, and I talk shit the entire time, which makes him even more mad.
There's a video going around on social media where it's like a dad introducing his son to Goldeneye, and like the initial like title screen comes on and the music, and he's like, "Oh, it's on now. You don't know, but you're about to get your ass kicked." Like, and his son is like, "What is wrong with you?" He's just looking at him side eye. It's really funny.
I don't know, Bobby, the Nidhogg games. There was a game that was, I guess it's still free on the PlayStation. Well, I'll say free whenever you pay for the service, but PlayStation Plus. It's the Stick Fighter game, Stick Fight, whatever. I think it's called Stick Fight. Yeah, and
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember
it's up to 4-player, and it's cool because you can do hot seat multiplayer and then go online. So Katie, Tommy, and I usually do that, and it's only 4, so we end up finding some poor soul to play with online. And it's funny because we'll sit there and just like mess around with everybody, and like, oh yeah, well let's let them like have fun with us the first couple rounds, and then they quickly realize that the 3 of us are all together,
yeah.
and they usually hop off within about a couple rounds later.
It's like playing Among Us against a group that they're all in the same place, and you're like, the deck is stacked against me, man. I'm out.
Yeah. All right, Bob, you gotta say it.
Dallas sucks.